Welcome back, Sunday, and we're doing some pull-ups. What's up?
Just that?
Oh yeah, I mean, usually I go a little bit higher, but my arms are feeling a little short today.
You need me to lower that?
No, I'm doing pull-ups.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, just pull-ups.
Just your body.
Yeah, I asked for this chair to be made out of mercury, so it's pretty heavy. It's like 300 pounds or something.
Fuck no.
Lightweight, really. Lightweight, really.
I would work out.
You too. Welcome back. Sunday morning. I'm gonna try something that I am apparently not as against as I once was, which is I want to try these grips because normally you curl the bar in here and you curl it under and then it pulls on this side, so you're kind of pulling on it and it gives you the grip. But also when you go like this and just have it over here, it gives you grip in the same way that like leather gloves might give you some grip. And by the way, I woke up today and it was snowing. So that was not cool. It wasn't too bad. And, I don't like it that much. It's okay. So one of the things that I wanted to say is I really like the cold. I keep my house at like 55 degrees. I think I have it set to 59 right now. But the other day I turned off the heat, went to bed, kind of forgot to turn it back on. And I woke up and it was 51 Fahrenheit. That's like 14 Celsius. And to be honest, it was kind of nice. It was pretty nice. I liked it. I like being in the cold. I kind of like shivering. I don't know, something about being cold. I enjoy it. Okay, and we're gonna work out before I talk for like 5 minutes. Okay, take 2. I normally don't do 2 takes, but that last clip, I couldn't talk properly or even think properly. So all I really was saying is that we're moving on to these cable rows. I like these a lot. And if I do a little bit lighter weight, I can get a pretty good squeeze, which is nice. So the cool thing is that it looks like I'm doing 2 plates. There are 2 plates on here, but they're 35s. This is 185, not 225. I'm pretty sore today. As you could see if you were paying close attention, I was struggling on the cable pull downs. That was 65 pounds, and I was struggling. Of course, I did pull-ups prior, but even then, I struggled on the pull-ups and all that. I'm thinking, I should start doing some mobility work, yoga, something of that nature. I used to do it. There's the gym at my office is free, and they have classes that are also free, and they have a yoga class. It used to be Wednesdays during lunchtime. And, I think that's one thing is because I'm not a 100% bodybuilder, right? Like I do other stuff. I'm trying to be more of a side quest guy. Now, bodybuilding is a major thing for me. And, I'm still going to be doing bodybuilding shows in the future and everything. But at the same time, I kind of like to live my life in a James Bond fashion. And I should clarify because there are a lot of ways that can be taken incorrectly. What I mean is, when you look at James Bond, and I've watched all the movies like 2 or 3 times, every single one. I think I know all the James Bond actors, but I used to even know, the name and whatever of every single movie, right? But when you look at James Bond, he can go anywhere and do anything, right? He gets, you're in a situation where you have to fly a plane, you have to fly a helicopter, you have to ride a boat, you have to ride a horse, you have to ski, you have to, what else does he do? Motorcycle, shoot, or archery, or any type of tactical, physical, mental, whatever it is, right? Smart, cunning, skilled, and that's what I'm going for. Of course, I'm limited. And, I'm even looking at Tony Stark, Iron Man, because I'm an electrical engineer. I think, and it's impossible, right? Without a team and a business and a company, one man cannot really build that type of stuff. It's a movie. You have to be realistic in a sense. But what I mean is, I think it'd be so cool to, you kind of have this vision, you have this focus, you're working on something, or, you're technical in some way, you have this kind of charm, but you also have these skills, this intellect, this ability to absorb information and then do something with it. And that's kind of what I go for in life overall. So I went horseback riding thanks to one of my friends. And so now I kind of have the gist of how it would work. And I'm not good, but I've done it, I'm familiar now. And the next thing is learning how to fly a plane and, like go on a boat. Not really a big thing in Colorado to go on boats because we don't have a lot of bodies of water, but back in Michigan or Wisconsin, there's a lot of lakes and stuff for boats. So, learning how to kind of drive a boat, I don't know if that's the word for it. I have my motorcycle endorsement. I've learned how to ride a motorcycle. I can't anymore because it involves feet and balance, but, stuff like that is what I try to do, like side quest wise. The point of me saying all this, which we're probably going on like 4 minutes of talking, the point of me saying all this is, yes, I'm a bodybuilder, but I'm not a like bodybuilder only. I'm not 100% my entire life is bodybuilding. A major part of my life is bodybuilding, but it's also fitness. I mean, like looking good, of course, but strength. And this is where I was talking about mobility, where if I do yoga, that gives me more of a well-rounded, just physical, maybe skill set, or if you want to call it prowess, or I don't know what else to call it. But what I mean is, if I'm singularly focused on bodybuilding, and it's like a 90, maybe 70% focus, but I also want to incorporate, of course, cardio. I want to incorporate yoga. I want to incorporate mindfulness, of course, more meditation and stuff. I want to incorporate, just the ability to be athletic in general, which requires more than just lifting weights. I have to do more, basically. And so that's what I'm looking to do is, going skydiving, getting familiar with that. I'm not very good at shooting, but learning how to get more familiar with guns and just being able to have good aim or whatever. Archery, I really want to do archery. Maybe I'm going to look into doing some archery this week before the new year. That way I can mark it off my 2025 goal list. I don't know what else, but I think you get the idea. And now I'm going to work out. So obviously I have switched my shirt and I smell really bad. My deodorant actually doesn't work. Like, it works for maybe 3 hours. I said 6 the other day. I think it's really bad. It says 72 hours on it too. I'm almost tempted to call the company and tell them that it's bad and their satisfaction guarantee did not satisfy me. However, it was on sale for $2.50. So, do I really care? No. And, deodorant's really expensive these days. So I pretty much only buy it on sale, unless I really need to buy it. But it's so expensive. I'm tempted to buy some Temu deodorant. Not really. But if anyone of the 100 people who watch this, and the maybe 30 who make it this far into the video, if you happen to be an economist, then I'd like to know about the economics of cost of living. Why does it go up? Why is it assumed to be a kind of law that inflation should be about 2 to 3% per year. Why does that exist, right? I mean, is that just a kind of law as a consequence of the current economics, or is it a law of any large or small society? I suspect that inflation is due to government, and cost of living goes up because of government. It starts at the government because the government is the first one to raise the prices, which are taxes, and then it trickles down through the companies and into the average everyday person's cost of living in daily life. You know, when the government raises taxes, which I voted no recently, and I was talking about this a while ago, and there was a bill that got passed for the county or whatever the city that I'm in to raise taxes, and I voted no, but everyone else voted yes for some reason. So now I'm paying more in taxes, which means I have less money to spend for myself, and that also means that, you know, if there's a business owner who's paying the same taxes as I am, they might want to raise their prices to adjust for their loss of money. When they raise their prices, now I lose more money, and then when property taxes go up, right, then businesses have to raise their money, or when the government raises the minimum wage, companies could use that as an excuse to just raise their prices, and then minimum wage doesn't mean anything because everything else went up beyond what minimum wage was supposed to recover in terms of cost of living. And, you know, it's like the whole egg thing where eggs went up to like $10 for a dozen or more. I mean, prices seem lower now. But, you know, I've heard in some places, and I don't know how credible this is, but something about how the egg crisis was kind of made up. We didn't actually need to raise prices as much as we did. And also, you know, you look at countries who are first world, second world, or third world countries, and the standard of living and the cost of living is way lower. And maybe that's just because the US dollar is so strong, right? If you go to some countries in Southeast Asia, then you might find that, okay, you know, it costs $10 to buy food for the whole week, but that's 10 US dollars, whereas if you actually lived and worked there, it would balance out to be, you know, a natural 30% of your income or something like that. But aside from that, you know, like, I know Taiwan is extremely affordable because I was just there, and I know that it's very much a first world country with all the luxuries, and it's very, very affordable in terms of, you know, going out to eat and all of that. So my question is, like, how does this happen? How is America so big? We have so much land, we could be so self-sufficient, and yet the cost of living, the cost of food, the cost of housing and everything is seeming to be more and more unaffordable than ever before. 4 plates, we're trying 4 plates. I'm either going to embarrass myself or be awesome. I'm using the grips, definitely using the grips. And I don't know what else to say. This is gonna be really, really difficult, and I gotta get a good song going. Everybody in the gym is staring at me, the entire gym. No one's even working out. Everyone stopped working out and they're all just watching. At least that's what I'm telling myself. So those were not a complete squeeze, and I certainly didn't really feel it, because when you're moving weight like this, it's you know, it's the movement, it's not exactly the pinch and squeeze of the muscle. So that was good though. This is, if you count the bar itself, it's 45. This would be 225, but it's probably more like, let's see. I mean, it's at least 180 because this is 180 right here. I keep rubbing the weights like it's my precious baby or something. And it is. This is my girlfriend right here. So yeah, that was cool. This is my last talking segment. I'm gonna do maybe a couple shoulder workouts after this. For sure, I'm gonna do a rear delt thing. And then I wanna do the shrugs as well. And I think I've talked enough that, you know, when I overlay the workout with the talking, that I'll have enough workout recording to put over the talking if I stop talking after this. So, with that in mind, I hope you have a great day and enjoyed me talking about random stuff.